Okay, so we're going to start by reviewing the difference between a first-hand and a second-hand account. You learned about this on Friday, but we're going to quickly review. So a first-hand account is a passage based on personal experience. So the person who was writing it was experienced whatever they're writing about, so it's a first-hand account. A first-hand account is usually more reliable because the person who was there is actually writing it. In a first-hand account, you will see the pronouns I, me, we. An example of this is when someone says, "We were terribly harassed." We, that person was there. So this is a first-hand account. Second-hand account. This is something that's based on research. So it's usually written after this has happened, looking at different accounts, and then compiling it all together to create an article that is based on research. So the person who wrote it did not experience it, but they're learning from other people and then they're writing about it. So pronouns like he, she, and they. So this example here, they started off standing silently, holding picket signs reading. So the word they is showing you that the person who was writing it was not there. Got it? They would be saying we if they were. They are saying they did this, they did this. So it's a second-hand account. First-hand account, I think of it as like first-hand. You are there. You are in the story. Second-hand, you know about it, you're writing about it. You're kind of outside of the story. Okay, so now let's review. Now that we've quickly reviewed this, on Friday, we read this passage here. You told me on your little quiz that you took online on theformative.com, you told me that this passage, remember this one, was about the women's suffrage, it was about Alice Paul, you did a close read on it, and you told me that they used a lot of words like you saw, the women took advantage, down here I know there were some, force-fed her, there's they in there, right here. And so you told me that because you saw they and her, and the person who wrote this story was not there, that this was a second-hand account. Okay, so just to review, what was 10 suffrage arrested while picketing at the White House? Was it a first-hand or a second-hand? All right, good. It was a second-hand account because the person was not there. They were writing about other people. Okay, so now I want you to look at this passage, the one we read yesterday. So you read this interview between Gluck, who was a reporter, and Kettler, who was a suffragist. And I want you to look at it really quickly. We can just always look in this first little section right here, and I want you to decide if this is a first-hand account or a second-hand account. Okay? So Gluck is saying, can you describe what happened? So Gluck was not there, but Kettler, we were terribly harassed. There were always men and women standing out there harassing us and throwing some pretty bad insults and pretty obscene ones. The word we. So is this passage that you read yesterday, the suffragists from tea parties to prison, we see the word we. We see Kettler saying I, we. Kettler was there, right? Kettler was there. So is this a first-hand account? I, me, we. Or is this a second account? He, she, they. Look right here. I, we. So is this article first-hand or second-hand? Go. All right, good. Hopefully you got it right. This article is a first-hand account. Okay? Hold on. Okay, great. Sorry, I had to do a little something. But now what you're going to answer is I want you to think about. So remember, this text here, the 10 suffragists arrested while picketing at the White House was what we read on Friday. And it's about an outsider's view and opinions and information and facts about the women who got arrested at the White House. Whereas this text that we read yesterday, which we now know is a first-hand account, is a more of a real story and real view of just one person who participated in this picketing and was arrested. So what I want you to think about is, what did you learn from this story here, Suffragists from Tea Parties to Prison, that you didn't learn from this one, the secondhand account, 10 suffragists arrested while picketing at the White House? So what knowledge did this second article give you that you didn't have from the first article? Go. Okay, so I know that may have been tricky, and it's okay because I just wanted you to try. The important thing for you to know is that you got to know how someone felt who was directly affected by this, right? That's the difference between a first-hand account and a second-hand account. You get to know the personal experiences behind it, whereas a second-hand account, it's more based on research and more factual rather than experience. Okay, so I hope that was a quick overview of the differences between a first-hand account and a second-hand account. And just a reminder, the one we read on Friday was a what? Okay, good. Hopefully you got it right. It was a second-hand account because it's someone else is writing it. The words they, he, she, okay? And then what was the one we read yesterday? Is this first-hand or second-hand? Go. Okay, good. So hopefully you remembered that this one is a first-hand account because it has the words we, I, and it is someone's personal experience. All right, thank you. Continue through your module.